Before we start, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we're recording on. For me, that's the Wangaburra clan.
And for me, it's the Wurundjeri peoples. Welcome to the show. We are your hosts. We're not ghosts. We are hosts. Welcome to the show. Look, if you're not going to start, I'll start, and it's never going to be good.
Oh, God, that was ghastly.
That is what you get.
We're not ghosts. We're hosts.
With the
for
most.
The love of God. You know what? Leisha made me laugh. You know what else made me laugh, which not a lot's been making me laugh lately, is amongst the madness that is my life while I was sitting in renovation and flash flooding. You know, your piano skills that should pay the bills.
They will one day.
The videos you sent me that I didn't ask for.
No, and I said that. Here's the content you never asked for.
And the content I never knew I needed. And it's just you, just with your new little Rogan piano that you purchased, which is another topic we need to discuss another day, is Yvie Jones's random ass purchases. And she's popped up her little, what is it? Your little thing that you follow when you learn your skills?
Yeah, it's a piano. It's called Simply Piano. It's an app on my iPad, and it's teaching me how to play piano and read music. And I've never been able to read music because I have like dyslexia with numbers. So music has always been really difficult for me. So I'm doing a child's app, and it says it's all ages. So I'll, but it's a child's app because I've seen my friends' children use it. And I'm at week 6. I started playing as soon as I bought my piano, and I practice every single day, and I'm getting really, really good. And the app is so good. It has these sounds, diddling, when you've done really good. But when you've done badly, it doesn't go bah or anything. It just goes blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so you don't get disheartened.
No,
so
just
you continue.
Try again. And it gets you to just try it again, and you try it again, and it goes, diddling, you did it.
Oh,
and then
I
at
saw
the end
it.
of each, the end of each module, it goes, dun, dun, dun. Like, you're amazing. Keep it up. Did you know just 10 minutes a day of, practice will get you where you want to be? And I'm thinking, in a year, I'm going to be able to play a song.
Oh, you're going to be absolutely brilliant. And just the look of like the chuffness of your face was just like, I missed that bit up. I have to do it again. And I'm like, oh, you go, girl.
Do you think I should post it on our socials?
I reckon, because it made my day, and I'm sure it needs to there's a lot of people out there that need their day made by you just going to town on your little keyboard.
Well, when I posted it, when I sent it to you, I was thinking, I didn't want to show you that I was practicing piano until you were here in person, and then I was going to play you a song. And I thought, oh, no, she's having a really bad day, so I'm just going to send it to her, a video. I couldn't help myself. So I set up my camera and got record, and it was at the side so you could see the piano, you could see my fingers working, and the hilarity of it is me. I'm just pressing one key, ding, ding.
Ding. But you look so stoked with yourself.
Yeah, I was, because I was doing it at the right time, in the right tempo, and I was doing the right note. And the app lets you know if you don't do even the right tempo. It goes, because I was doing that song, da-da-da-da,
da-da-da-da, Beethoven. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Can you learn Titanic for me?
Yes,
that would
I
be
can.
lovely.
Yes, I can.
Thank you for making my day, because you're right. Yesterday was quite a rubbish day because this gal not only is got her PMDD on fleek, and my breasts are so fucking sore. Like I woke up crying because they were so sore. The worst they've ever been. But that's not the reason why I had a bad day. I'm renovating, and I've never renovated before. I'm renovating, which is already very stressful, but I'm renovating on my own on a moist mountain where there's been a lot of flash flooding lately, and also everybody in the area is so busy that they never – your whole roof could be falling in, and you got your make safe on, the tarp on your roof, and that's fallen through, they don't care. They're not turning up.
Yeah. Well, you're really close to all the emergency flooding that's happened and people have lost their houses. So you are like at the bottom of an emergency list.
Oh, fully. And I'm totally not going to take that away from anybody. But
no, and every tradie would be just smashed. And there's so much rain happening again up there. That
I mean, if you can see it at the back, you could see the trees. Like, it's nuts. It's actual pandemonium up in here.
It's not good. It's not going to stop for days.
It's not going to stop. So I'm trying to do renovations because what's happening is a little update is that I'm renovating downstairs because Jessica's so big and I only use upstairs. And downstairs was always going to be for guests, but I haven't really had guests over, let's face it. I do once in a blue moon.
Never been invited.
I will one day. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to rent out. It's fully self-contained and rent it out. So I've got a tenant moving in the end of May, which is fabulous, to get myself ready to move to Melbourne.
Yes.
So that's why renovations are happening. So I'm getting a kitchen redone in there and the bathtub's been removed from the room so it can be like a living room, bedroom. So I've got all these, men and women walking in and out of my house and it's great, but it's just I'm very sensitive to people's energy. So having them stomp through Jessica, which is my safe space, I'm just like, and then the drilling and then picking even blind colours and the types of blinds you need on a moist mountain. I'm just like, holy shit. There's so much to think about. So not only is there renovations, there's renovations in the insurance waiting period with my wet, damp roof that have leaks and mold. The mold just keeps me up at night thinking I'm breathing it in, giving me anxiety. So look, I've never been around renovations before really, like maybe a little bit.
House? Like your dad never renovated anything in your house?
He used to build stuff in our garden, like playgrounds, but like he never renovated. No, he'd like pay his mates to do it. But I know that you have a very good tale.
I grew up in a house that was just being renovated the entire time and it never got finished. And it only got finished after my mother died because my brother and my other brothers were all like, we need to do this because there was the one thing she wanted and she never got. But the worst thing about renovating from someone who is a builder is they won't get others in to do it. So that's why it never gets done because they're working all day and they don't want to come home and start renovating their house that they've already started renovating. Nothing gets finished because they're exhausted. My dad would be exhausted. He would sit on the lounge and eat Smith's chips and watch TV and play with the dogs. And fair enough, after a hard day's work. My mother worked full time, so she didn't do the same thing, obviously. But the house just never got finished. And then Dad would get these what do you call them? A surge of energy, and he'd start again. And but sometimes he wouldn't finish the first job. He'd go and start a second job. And like we literally lived in a house that we could smash the fibro. And if we were angry, we'd get a hammer and smash it because it was being demolished anyway. Where our home phone was, we'd pick up the phone if it wasn't for us or if it was for someone that wasn't home, we had a pencil and we would write all the notes on the wall because the wall was being demolished. Like it was such a house and we had all these kids come and live with us, and at one point we had 4 boys sleeping in one bedroom for the longest time. Like I'm talking over 10 years. My parents had their double bed in the lounge room.
What?
Like we lived in the tiniest house with all of this big block around us with what do you call it when you're building something and it's not finished yet? Like the frames the frames would all be around the house ready to be finished, but they'd never be finished. So you couldn't live in those. So we lived in this tiny fibro shack with potential. Potential just never happened.
Oh, see, that would give me anxiety. I could not sit around and look at that mess.
But you get used to it.
Yeah, it probably just becomes like second nature.
We didn't realise, I certainly didn't realise just how bad it was until you'd have your friends over and they'd like question it and be like, why? Or you'd hear someone has talked about your house and how much of a mess it is, or, and the really weird thing is both of my parents are Virgos, so they're extremely neat people, tidy and clean. So we were living in this house that was half demolished, but it was spick and span. Like you could eat off it. It was so clean.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing. But now my dad, who lives in this house alone, is in a 4-bedroom house, 3-level, which is finally finished with no one else in it. When we had about 11 of us in there, it was the tiniest.
That's sad. That's so sad though, isn't it? Because it's like he's finally got this home, and the home your mum always wanted, and then she never got it. That makes me sad.
Yeah, it's extremely sad, and that's why I can't do renovations. I can't do, anything. So when I hear that you're doing renovations, it really freaks me out. But you know what freaks me out the most is that you're doing it alone. That you're a single woman who's doing it alone. I think, though, it's probably actually a better thing because you will get things done and you won't argue with your partner. There's nothing worse than arguing with your partner about your f***ing renovations, because there's always one person that is stronger about what they want and they push, and that's normally, if it's a heterosexual relationship, the man, and so you get to decide and make all the decisions, which is kind of exciting. But I mean, I said to you in my pitch for you to move to Melbourne, honey, I think you are too young to be living on a mountain in a yurt
on my own.
That's the kind of thing you would do later in life with a partner or something. So, I am actually really impressed that you're doing it. I'm not mad. I'm impressed.
I'm not even mad.
I'm not even mad. But I do also think it's very stressful. And stress is stress. As you know, it's whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, your body doesn't know the difference. It's stress. It's stress on your body, and, you start worrying about things. But this weather is come at the worst time.
It just makes everything slower and more damp. And look, I always think that, life's for living. I love throwing myself in an absolutely insane situation. So for me to be renovating my own home by myself at 32 years old without, the stresses of, somebody else telling me what to do or whatever, I'm working with a great team, which me, I'm the worst at making decisions. I cannot make decisions. I'm so indecisive that it actually makes me feel sick. So I've said to them, and because I'm so busy, I'm just like, you know what? And I'm very chilled. I'm not one of those, I'm not a control freak. I'm very chilled when it comes to well, would you like this color that goes with this? I'm like, well, that looks pretty. I'm not like, oh my God, but it doesn't match. I'm like, yeah, I like that. I've let them fully take over.
That's probably a good thing.
I've let them just take over. I'm like, you're the professional. Run it by me, but don't call me every second asking me friggin' questions. Just think, what would Angie like? Send me a little email and I'll just say yes or no. And it's just easier that way. I don't need the bombarding.
But they wouldn't be used to that, see, because you've got so many people coming at them when you're doing renovations. You've always got the owners going, no, this way, you're not understanding me, blah, blah, blah. That it would be actually really weird for them to just go, can I make an executive decision here?
Yeah.
And,
I've let them choose the stone top. I'm like, I don't care as long as it looks good. They're like, really? I'm like, yep, go for gold.
Renovations can suck my dick.
Heavy. No, you know what? Some days I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? I've bought seriously on one of the wettest mountains in Australia, and as much as it is beautiful, it's been overwhelming. I think the weather it's not always like this, but the last 6 months of weather has been awful for people around this area. So and I also think, but there's a lesson in it. So even though it's hardcore and I don't know anyone my age by themselves that's doing something like this, I like it. I see it as like a box I've ticked that I can be like, remember that time I lived on a yurt on a mountain by myself? Yeah. The end.
This is all just for your next book, isn't it?
Yeah. The mountain goat. If you don't laugh, you're mountain goat.
You know how people call people the goat? What does that mean? GOAT.
Greatest of all time.
Right, because Meryl Streep was on the Graham Norton show saying how people were calling her the goat on the last movie. She made the younger people, and she was just thought, oh, they're calling me a goat because I'm old, and I'm a bit crabby.
Yeah, like you old goat. Yeah. No, greatest of all. She is the greatest of all time.
And then someone said to her, no, it means greatest of all time. And she was like, oh.
She's like, stop
and they
it.
were mortified that she thought they were calling her a goat.
Oh, look at you and Meryl, just not knowing, you goat.
I'm so lucky you're here for me and Meryl. Oh, also, just a side note, Autumn is doing really well, for anyone that's wondering. I have renamed her Autumn Beryl.
Stop it. I love that. Autumn Beryl.
Yep, Autumn Beryl. Or Audie Bears or AB.
Audie Beryl.
Beryl.
That's really good. I like that.
Excuse me?
Yvie, you're f***ing disgusting.
It's not disgusting. It's just air that came out of my belly. How much money would you spend on a dog, really? I mean...
On a dog?
Like, not on a dog to buy, because I do not. And you do not. We know. No.
Just the adoption
Do not buy
fees,
dogs.
dolls. That's all I spend on them.
Yeah. And then after you have the dog, how much would you spend on their bedding? How much would you spend on their clothing, their grooming, them, all of that?
Well, I'm a sicko. I'd probably breastfeed my dog if I could. So I'd spend whatever they need.
Yeah, the correct answer is no limit.
There's no limit. The sky's the limit when it comes to the dancing dogs. Why? Have you done an Evie Jones purchase?
Oh, so many, too many. No, I'm about to make a purchase though.
Oh, God.
Unless this company want to gift something to me.
What is it?
You know those dog beds that they're really fluffy and the dog kind of sinks into them? You know those
they
ones,
look
and
so
everyone's like,
cozy.
oh, yeah, they're so cozy, and like they put it next to a normal dog bed and they're like, boring, look, and the dog's so happy in it. Well, they've made a human one.
Get out of town.
I'm going to say it, so if they're listening, they might say, well, Yvie and Autumn and Sissy need this. They're called Pluffle. It's called a Pluffle.
Oh, my God. A pluffle. I want a pluffle.
Pluffle. Pluffle.
I want to sleep in a pluffle.
It's intended to alleviate stress and anxiety for humans.
I love
you
it.
lie in it like in your lounge room on the floor in front of your TV or your fire or whatever, and just like the dogs, you just sink into it. But it's so cool that you can actually fit your dog into it too. So you have your naps with your dogs, which I have naps all the time with my dogs in our actual bed. This would be lovely. Pluffle on the floor.
A pluffle on the floor. Well, how much are they? You didn't say.
I could do a fluffle in the pluffle.
You would too.
Seriously, $570. That is more expensive than a bed.
That's what the hell? You'd want a dog to come with that bed for that price.
Yeah. An adopt. Imagine if you got a rescue with every pluffle.
Oh, that's actually a good business idea.
Oh,
Pitch that shit.
yeah. It's a little bit weird.
That's a lot. That's a lot of squirrels to purchase. Like, look, I probably wouldn't pay that much on my bed for myself and my dog. I think that's a little bit excessive.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to buy a pluffle.
No.
I would accept a pluffle if Pluffle is listening. Pluffle, are you listening?
Please give us one for when I move to Melbourne so I can have a sleep in it as well.
You know when you're sleeping with your dog and your dog is so comfortable that you're not comfortable?
Yes.
And you pull a muscle in this position because you will not move because of that. Oh. I had to get myself out of that habit because I was doing that, like, she finally is asleep. She looks so comfortable. Oh, okay. And then I was just like, I'm going to end up in hospital with, a twisted back. So I found that if you just kind of move, your dog will go like this and move with you and again and find it find its own comfortable position really quickly.
That's the thing. You don't want to wake them up because you're so frightened they're going to then think it's time to party.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. That's like with mums with babies. I see how they do that. When I nannied and babies would fall asleep on me, I'd be busting to pee for 2 hours. But I thought if this little shoit wakes up, like it's my 2-hour downtime, I can put the TV on and just lay there like...
Yeah.
And you just don't want to move because
Yes.
you just want them to be asleep for as long as possible.
My mum said that she used to do that. Like I'd fall asleep and she would just be in so much pain because, you know, she didn't want to move me. When I was a nanny, if I ever had babies that fell asleep on me and I didn't want to move, I just weed on the lounge.
You're such a... I just took their nappy off and put it on myself.
I just wore a nappy. And I just wore a nappy the entire time I was a nanny, and they called me the nappy nanny. That's what I was known as at the playground.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Because I'd wear it and you just see my big booty, like, you know how babies walk.
And the sound like the...
And then sometimes they'd go, oh, have you done a poo-poo? Like, and then my face would go really red and they're like, oh, no, you're doing it now.
This is the poo face. Actually, speaking of nappies, another extreme thing that we do for dogs, because Yvie and I have obviously rescued a lot of dogs and fostered a lot of dogs in our time, is Yvie is known for putting her dogs in nappies.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing that people don't.
I mean, that would cost.
No, you know, a bag of nappies costs $10. There's 40 in them.
Oh, okay. I thought it was well expensive.
I wouldn't buy those for humans because I think that they're the more, like they wouldn't be good on skin. But when you've got fur on a dog, you know, it's not getting to them. But, yeah, it's really easy to nappy a boy dog because you use it like a belly belt.
Yeah.
But for a girl dog, you've actually got to nappy them like a human.
Yes. Remember, you wouldn't do it that way. You'd strap it up around Leo's stomach and his little peenie would sometimes pop out of it and it'd be out the thing. And I'd be like, oh, it's not even freaking – that dog had a nappy on 24/7 by the end.
Yeah, he had to. Because remember, he would just wee.
Everywhere.
Remember when he weed in front of you while you were on the toilet? He came in blind and walked out. And just as he was about to leave, he stopped and just pissed on the floor in front of you.
But would look me like dead in the eye while he was doing it, knowing full well that it would just piss me off. And the worst part is...
He couldn't see you.
Yes, he could. He could smell me.
Yeah, he knew you were there.
And he could still semi-see because the worst part was the door to go outside was literally half a metre away from the freaking toilet. And he would not walk out there because it would be too cold. I reckon he would have to be one of the most expensive dogs all up because of all the medical bills, the nappies, the prams because he refused to walk anywhere. Yeah. We would have him in a pram along with our other 400 dogs. Then we had Tom and we had me and we had you and we were just walking along the modern day family with our freaking pack of dogs.
But let me ask you this. If you know that video, you've actually got a video of you sitting on a toilet while Leo wees in front of you, and it's still to this day. You can just send it to me, and you know I'll just lose my shit over it. Like we get so much out of it. But let me ask you this: would you prefer that to continue happening, or would you prefer him in a nappy?
I way prefer him in the nappy, but sometimes you'd leave the nappies on for so long they'd be so moist and stinky. It was just rank.
Well, you should have reminded me.
Oh,
I would have changed it, no problem. I wouldn't have noticed.
Oh gosh, hit Leon and the money. He was a money thief.
He was so beautiful with his stinky breath and his biting. He'd bite everywhere. I've still got scars on my hands and my fingers. I've still got a numb little bit of where my nerve was bitten.
Oh my God, what about... speaking of spending money on pets and things, but what about that time I accidentally dropped a Panadol on the floor and we thought he licked it up? So we had to rush him to the vet.
Yeah, Nurofen. Yeah, because Panadol's okay for dogs, but Nurofen's not. And we could not find it. So we thought, well, he's licked it up and we had to get his stomach pumped.
And I was beside
$800.
He was the most expensive dog. Seriously, the sky was the limit when it came to Leon and his needs of...
His name was Leo, just so everyone knows. And Angie always called him Leon.
Yeah. Because he's a naughty boy.
Because it was like his alter ego name.
Because he was a naughty boy.
Yeah.
Leon, that's what I called him when he was cross.
If anyone wants to see Leon, go onto our Angie and Yvie Instagram and scroll down until you see a video of a humping dog, humping a pillow, and we are singing a song for him.
Hump that pillow.
Hump that pillow.
You know you wanna hump
and that
that
was
pillow.
our Leon,
Hump that
my
pillow.
Leon, that Angie and him had quite the
Love-hate, wasn't it?
relationship. Yeah,
he was like
it
the
really
younger
was.
brother
It really
that
was.
the other younger brother that I never wanted, but I got. And I loved him, but I also,
Yeah.
I was devastated when he passed away. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah.
He was just a pest.
Yeah, he was my pest and I loved him. And I got him at 8 and he was a bloody, you know, when you adopt a dog from people and they're like, oh no, he's great. And you believe them. Then you fall in love within a day and then you realise the dog's a mentalist and you're like, oh no.
Dead set monster.
I've made a huge mistake. But you can't give it back because you know they don't want him.
They gave him away for a reason. What the? Of course.
They certainly did.
Anyway,
Certainly did. Anyway, that's us for this week.
That feels really quick, hey?
Yeah, it was really quick. Next week, I think we should touch on a more serious subject that I actually said we would touch on this week, but we haven't because we're not really in the mood. We've had a lot of stress this week, and not just stress with housing and renovations and things like that. Like, the world is a bin fire at the moment. Like, we've got Roe versus Wade, which we want to talk about next week. We've got the Amber Heard and John Depp case, but we've also got our election is going to happen soon, and you know there's a lot of hate going on. So the world is shitting me to tears right now. So I'm really glad that I have my dogs. I will be getting my Pluffle hopefully soon.
Yeah.
And I've got 4 dogs today. 4 people, read them, and I'm going to take them out to the dog park. And and that's the other thing, Angelie.
What?
That is breaking my heart this week.
What?
There is someone or some people who are baiting dogs in Stonington. I'm in the area of Stonington. That's my council. And there is, at the moment, well, up until yesterday, I knew that there were 12 dogs who had been poisoned and 7 of them had died. Yesterday at the vet, there was 11 dogs poisoned yesterday from meat being thrown in our local dog parks. And
why? What do people get out of doing that? What is wrong with people?
I don't know. And, you know, to murder an innocent animal like that in such a painful way, and they can't catch this person or these people. They did find someone, but they've let her go. So she obviously had nothing to do with it, or they didn't have enough evidence. So all I know is they're doing it again. And it is so stressful because I take my dogs out and, you know, dogs just sniff and eat everything. I've got Peggy, who's a 6-month-old puppy. She eats everything that is in her wake in a park. And now I've got to take her to a dog park hoping that this particular dog park I'm going to hasn't been targeted.
Oh, my God. That is so messed up. I had no idea that was happening.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm tired.
Garbage people.
I'm tired.
Well,
Garbage people.
You make sure you keep an eye out for those meat traps with poison. Don't you be munching on any.
I will. I keep my eye out. Like I keep my eyes out looking at everything. I tell you what, if I ever found the person, I won't even say. I won't even go on with that.
Get their hands and rip their fingernails backwards.
But if I ever found, I'd make them eat it. No, too far?
Too far?
No, never.
Nah. Why not?
I love your torture technique. You've gone straight for the fingernails. Weird, but okay.
Weird flex, but let your freak flag fall.
Anywho, I hope the rain doesn't rain on your head too much.
Rain on my parade.
Don't tell me not to.
I'm over the sweet, sweet rain. I hope the sun comes back. And wherever you are in this beautiful, beautiful country.
World.
If you're listening to us abroad, which I doubt it. Maybe. Who knows?
If you are listening to us from another country, can you DM us and let us know where you're listening to us from? I'd just like to know if there is anyone out of Australia.
Out Australia.
Also, this week is our federal election. Please vote. Do not donkey vote. Your voice is very, very important. Very important. We need to ask the people, use our voices.
Amen.
Use yours.
And on that note, Have the day you deserve. Bye.
Woo! Dun, dun, dun. I'm doing the music. Dun, dun. I can't do it. Bye.
See ya.